Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Friday on the Turntable. Last Saturday I was over at the Record Room in Scottsdale filming our monthly Saturday night music club feature, and while we're listening to records we always just look through the bins and we end up finding things that we want. And I came across this and I just absolutely had to get it. This is the Iron Eagle soundtrack. If you guys remember Iron Eagle, the movie that came out I think in 1986, Louis Gossett Jr. It's about this kid who wants to get into the Air Force Academy. His father is a pilot and he gets apprehended somewhere I think in the Middle East, and he steals an F-16 fighter plane to go rescue his dad, and he's just a teenager. So I had to get the soundtrack. I knew it was going to be really bad, which it is. It opens up with a Queen track, but I just had to get it because I have a real soft spot for 80s and horror soundtracks. So Iron Eagle I had to get, and I figured if I'm showing this today, I'm going to show some other 80s movie soundtracks. So I hope you guys enjoy this. A great movie. I remember seeing this and a lot of the movies in this stack with my next door neighbor when we were teenagers named Trey, and this is still just such a phenomenal movie. The Lost Boys. Now the soundtrack isn't as great as the movie. There are some just classic moments on that. Of course, the version of People Are Strange by Echo and the Bunnymen, and then the theme song Cry Little Sister by Gerard McMahon is excellent. And then who can deny the I Still Believe Tim Capella version, singing on the beach with his shirt off and the ponytail. But a lot of the other tracks on this one really fall flat. They work in the context of the movie, but when you listen to them at home, you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, especially the Jimmy Barnes stuff. Keeping with the two Corys, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, also from the same year, 1987. License to Drive also featured Heather Graham. Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car, Billy Ocean. Just a great 80s soundtrack. Another one I saw with my next door neighbor Trey, and this is also from 1987. At the time we watched it and we're like, what the hell is this? But then it's just become kind of a cult classic, and I absolutely love this movie. Back to the Beach. Annette Funicello, Frankie Avalon, and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Dick Dale doing Pipeline. And one of the absolute highlights is Annette Funicello with Fishbone doing Jamaica Ska, that great scene on the beach there. Love this movie. If you've never seen it, it's cheesy, but it's great. Now, I saw the original of this movie in the movie theater. I remember when I was a kid, it came out, and my whole family went, and I remember we stayed at least to see it once, if not two more times, all in a row. And that was the original Grease. But in 1982, they released the sequel, Grease 2. And I, contrary to everyone's opinion of this movie, except my friend James Todd, who is with me in this one, I absolutely love Grease 2. It is so ridiculous. And Adrian Zmed was in it. This is probably the first vinyl video where Adrian Zmed's name has ever been dropped in there. And I remember, now that I'm thinking about Adrian Zmed, when I was a kid growing up in Chicago, the Chicago Cubs were in the playoffs playing the San Diego Padres in 1984. My brother and my parents had tickets, but I had to stay home that day, although they let me not go to school. And I remember my brothers telling me we saw Adrian Zmed at the game. So Grease 2, back to school again, Cool Rider, Girl for All Seasons, Do It for Our Country, Let's Bowl. Can't deny it, it's excellent. Stephen King's Christine, I think this came out in 1983, about a car that comes to life and commits all these murders and kind of changes whoever the owner is into this evil person. And the movie has a lot of the soundtrack has a lot of 1950s music in there. Yeah, Christine. Less Than Zero by Bret Easton Ellis was a book. He also wrote American Psycho, and this soundtrack, Robert Downey Jr. was in it. Kind of a disturbing story, but the soundtrack had post-Sam Hain, pre-Danzig, Glenn Danzig and the Power and Fury Orchestra doing the song You and Me, Less Than Zero, which is excellent. It has Slayer doing a version of Iron Butterflies and Agata-Davida, Public Enemy, Bring the Noise, the Bangles, Hazy Shade of Winter. If you're unfamiliar with the Less Than Zero soundtrack, highly recommend you guys picking that one up. Lastly, I'm going to show here, since we just lost this person, Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam. Another one I saw back then. I came out in 1988. Once again, A lot of older music on this one from the 60s, since it was set during the Vietnam War. This is really cool because the soundtrack intersperses all those Adrian Cronauer, aka Robin Williams, who was a radio DJ in the movie, and it has a lot of his little in-between segments that he did on the air, which are really, really great to hear, and just a really excellent soundtrack. So if you guys see this one laying around, pick it up. So anyways, guys, I'll revisit this theme in the future because, like I said earlier, I love 80s soundtracks. So let me know what some of your favorite soundtracks are from the 1980s in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys soon.